So we've asked you to fill out a property disclosure statement. Just so you're aware, the property disclosure statement is intended to identify everything you know to currently be right or wrong with your property, something that's defective or everything's working, and that's what this is intended to be, so that when the buyer looks at it, they can get an indication of what you know about the property. I'm just going to go over quickly a couple of things. When you're filling out the form, we'll put the date here. That's the date, obviously, that you're filling it out. And then here is the address of the property. We'll have already filled that in for you, so don't worry about that. Basically, what you need to do, you see there are X's here. Where those X's are, you actually required to put the initials of one party. So if one of you is filling out the form, if there are two people on title, then one person will need to put their initials in the spot where the X is. So are you aware of any encroachments, unregistered easements, or unregistered rights of way? If there's something like that on your property, then you need to initial yes. If there's not, then you initial in the no column. Some of the questions, like is there a survey certificate available, you may not know, and it might be registered at the District of Squamish. If that's the case, then you would indicate that in the do not know section. Now, in other sections, there are things like is there a swimming pool, or are records available regarding the quantity of the water available? And you might say it does not apply. So there are sometimes you have the option to put does not apply. Just fill out the questions that are required. Anything, for example, like under services here, it says if you indicated in 2A that the premises have a private well or water system, which you may not have, if you don't have it, then you don't need to answer part 1 and 2 of section B either. So just go through it nice and slowly. Be as accurate as you can with the answers that you put on the form. This is really important to be as accurate as you can. And then everybody who's on title needs to put their initials at the bottom of the page. So recall that only one person needs to put their initials in the spots where they're answering the questions. But on here, we need to have somebody actually initialing all parties on the listing contract. So another part that's sort of important to recall is, not to recall, but to do, is that when you are asked questions like, are you aware of any moisture and or water problems in the walls, basement, or crawl space? Or are you aware of any damage due to wind, fire, or water? Those are current questions. So is there currently that problem in the house? Yes or no? If 10 years ago there was water damage and it was repaired, you don't need to record that because it's been repaired. So there's no current damage due to wind, water, or fire. Are there any moisture problems in the walls? No. So if there was any unrepaired damage, then you'd have to note that. And that's where you would make note further on down here. So we're going to scroll through. So here you might have said there was a problem with something. Question 3.1, it says you might provide details or information about alterations that were made. So if we go back and say 3I, I said 3.1, but 3I, are you aware of any additions, alterations made without a required permit? And you might put yes. So you might put your initials in that box because you didn't get an electrical permit to do some of the work that was done in your house. In which case you'd put down here 3I, yes, the renovation was done in the basement and no permits were taken to complete the renovations. That's all you have to put, but at least you're disclosing everything. Once you've filled out everything to the best of your ability and you're done, then you just put your initials, signature here, and your signature here, and then you send it off to us, scan it and send it to us, and then we can review it and make sure everything's the way that it should be. Then we're good to go. So if you have any questions about that, let me know, but that's the simple gist of how you fill out the property disclosure statement. Have a fantastic evening. We'll talk to you soon.